So here we are on issue 2 of Symbiote Spider-Man Alien Realities. In our last issue, we just had Doctor Strange showing up. Hobgoblin is able to wield magic now. Peter and Doctor Strange are eating, talking about all this reality changing that's happened. Dr. Strange is filling them in on what happened. Basically, Hobgoblin showed up at his mansion, knocked out Wong, and ended up getting a hold of the book and stranded Dr. Strange in the zone with the Nameless. So the only thing that Doctor Strange has is a ring now that allows him to cast some spells. And that's the only thing that has saved him so far, that's keeping him concealed. So of course, they're making a plan to go after Hobgoblin, but Spider-Man's like, I don't know, I've got to go check on Aunt May. So he goes to call Aunt May, and they're all about having dinner and stuff. And at this time, Peter and Aunt May were in a bad spot with each other, so he's kind of relieved that Aunt May was willing to talk to him. He shows up at the door. Uncle Ben is still alive. Him and Aunt May still together. Peter's kind of made up his mind that he doesn't want to leave this reality now. This is what he had always wanted. And his spider sense goes off, and Hobgoblin busts through the house, and he's like, did you really think you could hide from me now that I've wielded the magic? So Peter tries to get everybody out, and he's able to turn the tide on Hobgoblin a little. And just as he thinks he's got Hobgoblin defeated, Hobgoblin blows the house up. And in this universe, or this reality, Aunt May ends up dying because of him. And Uncle Ben has a meltdown and blames him for killing Aunt May. And Black Cat comes in, or Red Cat, or whatever she's called now, comes in and pulls him out of the situation, to where now Peter knows he needs to get back to his place. And he goes back to Doctor Strange and wants Doctor Strange to teach him the magic he needs to beat Hobgoblin and get back. And that's how this issue ends. It felt like kind of a short issue, but I think it was well done. When Hobgoblin crashed to the house and Aunt May ended up getting killed, that's an essential part to Spider-Man, is there always has to be that death of one or the other. So I feel like that was essential, that had to be done, and I think they done it very well, because Peter had decided he wasn't wanting to fix the situation. So I feel like story-wise, this was another good, solid issue. I give it a solid 8, 8.5. I'll move it up to 8.5. That was a solid issue. When you see Aunt May and Uncle Ben together, I mean, anybody who's a Spider-Man fan, as long as I've been, it's a nice touch. It's something you didn't think you'd ever see again. Uh, and it was done very well. So I give it an 8.5 for story. I give it another 8.5 for art. So overall, this was definitely a 8.5 issue. This was a fantastic read. Uh, I'm kind of curious to see how they're going to go about teaching Spider-Man this magic stuff. Uh, but other than that, I'll see you at the next review.